improve the learning outcomes for Rwandan learners. Well, without any further delays, to officially set the context and get our afternoon underway, please join me to welcome the CEO of Rwanda ICT Chamber to deliver his welcome remarks. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to the stage.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so we are not all struggling with sleep after food. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, partners, entrepreneurs, students that are here today, thank you for making it to our kickoff event for the EdTech Fellowship Rwanda first cohort. And I want to start by thanking our partners, the Mastercard Foundation. Today, we gather here to kick off this fellowship, but it's been a really, a journey of partnership, of collaboration, of co-creating together, making sure that whatever we are putting together, whatever we're designing, is actually built on the context of Rwanda, as the theme today indicates, nurturing context-relevant EdTech innovations in Rwanda. So today is not just about launching a program. It is also a step towards taking a decisive step toward a future of Rwandan education, as Moise pointed out, improving learning outcomes. Our vision for this country is ambitious. It's not a vision for our government leaders. It is a vision for all of us, whether you're a student, and welcome the Rwanda Coding Academy students that are here this afternoon, or an innovator, a policymaker. We are all building towards Vision 2050 and NST2, where education technology, digital skills, and innovation-driven growth sit squarely at the heart of our national agenda. And to realize this vision, we must be proactive in nurturing these local context innovations that really transform, built by people that live in the communities for whom we are building them for. And it's always challenging when you're just delivering a program that someone has designed from somewhere else. But the beauty, and I really say this with a very humble heart, the beauty of working with the Mastercard Foundation has been that they want to understand that you are involved. They want you're co-creating, you're co-designing. And that is one thing that over the different programs that we've worked with the foundation, we've realized. This also builds on not just, it's not really random, okay? This is building on work that the ICT Chamber, in partnership with the foundation, has been doing since 2019 with EdTech Mondays, and mobilizing a community of EdTech entrepreneurs, policymakers, educators, and so on, to make sure that we actually increasing and improving EdTech solution adoption in schools and in different aspects of our lives. Even parents are actors and participants in this journey. So we've not done this with Mastercard Foundation only. We're doing this with our partners in Ingenie. Ingenie is a South African company that has partnered with the foundation over the years, delivering a similar program in South Africa. And we're working hand in hand with them to ensure that we're learning from each other, and we're working towards building not just a Rwandan thing, but building scalable businesses that are connected through a network, a human network of relationships across other EdTech fellowships on the continent, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Nigeria, and other parts in Ghana, And this is the kind of the quality of relationships that the entrepreneurs, the innovators that are participating, this is the kind of base that we will be building from. And I want to give a little bit of background because sometimes when you launch a program, it seems like some people sat down and designed and thought and applied for money from a big partner. But this comes from a conversation we had as a community around 2022. And Honorable Minister, we remember that conversation with EdTech entrepreneurs, with partners, with development partners that work in the education sector. And again, one of the things that came out of that was how do we improve EdTech solutions, the quality of EdTech solutions? How do we bridge the gap between adoption and development that is in the public sector? What is government doing in order to open up for EdTech entrepreneurs to bring their solutions into mainstream education? And that catalyzed the work that we were doing, and actually even EdTech Mondays, and the conversation kicked off since then. And then we went to work on building and designing this program. So today, what makes this fellowship really different from others is our operational philosophy, which is building inside the system, not beside it. And I say that again, building inside the system. We like building outside the box, thinking outside the box. But when it comes to these things that touch how someone's life is going to be formed 20, 30, 50, 60 years, we need to build inside the system. And the beauty of Rwanda is that we have partners, we have our government working with us to ensure that we are able to do and we're able to achieve that. So we are not creating isolated tech products. We are working directly within the education and school settings. And this ensures that your innovations solve real problems for our educators and students, supporting the government's push for hybrid learning and wider EdTech adoption. So I'll close this off, highlighting the fact that the ICT Chambers long-term partnership with the Mineduc and Mini ICT anchor this entire initiative, and that by aligning with the government, the private sector, as well as partners, that is the Mastercard Foundation, Carnegie Mellon University, who are our education or our learning of science partners that are going to work with the innovators to ensure that the products that we're developing really respond to learning outcomes and not just fancy products. And we have partners from Ingenie that will also be showing us the ropes, especially in ensuring that we're building scalable businesses. We don't want to, I think in January we had a meeting here and the Honorable Minister gave a speech and he said we are tired of pilots. So we are not here to launch another set of pilots, companies that build pilots. No, we are building companies that are going to scale so that the products that are coming from Rwanda are going in other places, in other countries, or that have started in one school or two schools are scaling nationwide. So again, join me in thanking our partners, the entire stakeholders, that is Ingenie, CMU, the Mastercard Foundation. We work with them. Sometimes I feel like we're using a lot of their time, but it's that co-creation and co-design, implementation spirit that we are in. So join me in thanking them with a hand clap, a very heavy one. And I'll pass back the microphone to our MC, and as he's going to tell us what's ahead in terms of the agenda. I've not given you the breakdown of what is involved, who, what, etc., what the program is about, because someone else will make a full presentation on that. And thank you again.
Thank you very much, CEO Alex, for your remarks. Thank you once again for setting the stage so beautifully and highlighting the collaborative spirit of the ICT Chamber. I think the technician will help us to project the agenda so that we can all follow through as we go along. In the meantime, we are going to be receiving remarks from our partners, especially the Mastercard Foundation representatives. After those remarks, we'll hear from Honorable Minister of State for Education to deliver her remarks. After that, we will announce to all of you the 8 fellows who made it through the first cohort of the fellowship. And following to that, we will go through the panel discussion and we'll be wrapping up our event. As Alex highlighted, this transformative initiative is made possible through an incredible partnership. And now to share insights from the Mastercard Foundation Centre for Innovative Teaching and Learning, it is my pleasure to invite Director of Digital Economy, Partner Programs, to deliver his remarks. Please put your hands together for Lord Wald.
Thank you so much, Moses. Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Claudette Irere. Rwanda ICT Chamber leadership led by Alex, EdTech entrepreneurs, ecosystem players, distinguished guests, good afternoon to you all. And I think I'll say mwiriwe to everyone. It is really a real pleasure for us to be here today. And I am actually joined by a number of colleagues from the Mastercard Foundation who are sitting amongst you. So I'll just name our Director of Transitions, Caroline, who's with us here, just to support the event as we kick off. But let me begin by congratulating our partner, Rwanda ICT Chamber, for joining our partners of implementers of the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship and for putting together such an amazing event. So please, a round of applause for Alex and his team. And I would also like to thank the government of Rwanda for continued leadership in advancing education, innovation, and digital transformation. What I've seen is Rwanda has consistently demonstrated what is possible when a country invests in its people and in its future. And we are really honored that in a small way, we're able to share and support that vision through the partnership that we have now with the ICT Chamber. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to focus on a simple yet important question. And the question that most of you might be wondering here is, why the EdTech Fellowship? Why do we even have this program that we're now having in multiple countries? At the Mastercard Foundation, we truly believe in a world where everyone deserves an opportunity to learn and to prosper. And we see this as a means of alleviating poverty and getting people out of the challenges that they might face. And through the Young Africa Work strategy that we embarked on, we set an ambitious target for ourselves, and that is to enable 30 million young people to dignified and meaningful work by the year 2030. And we see Rwanda contributing at a minimum 300,000 to that ambitious number. And one thing that I just want to also highlight is our mission. Our mission is guided by a few things, and there are 2 important things that we need to just highlight. One of those is advancement of education, and the other thing is financial inclusion. And as I've said before, we see this as very important in catalyzing prosperity. And this is why, since 2008, we have invested a majority of our resources into education, training, and skilling of young people. And for advancement of education, which is one of our critical mission goals, for that to happen, it requires more than just incremental changes. It requires innovation. It requires new ways of thinking of how learning actually happens in the classroom. How do teachers actually, can actually be supported? And how can education be more accessible, inclusive, and relevant to every single learner on our beloved continent? Ladies and gentlemen, the good news is the reason that we're actually here. Across the continent, entrepreneurs, they're rising up to the challenge. And using technology-enabled solutions, they're actually building solutions to some of these pressing challenges that we face on the continent. Our entrepreneurs are building solutions that allow learners to actually access education regardless of geography. They are building solutions that are supporting teachers to become more efficient and effective in a way. And then as we have implemented this program, across the continent, there are a few lessons that we have learned that I would just like us to highlight. Firstly, entrepreneurs need mentorship. They need networks. They need access to finance. They need an enabling environment. And again, I'm really excited and happy to have the government government representatives in the room, because I truly believe that government is very key and important for creating that enabling environment. And when these components, right, financial inclusion, access to finance, mentorship, and an enabling environment, when these components exist, then entrepreneurs, they're able to grow and scale their ideas. And more importantly, they're able to even support national priorities. Secondly, entrepreneurs need a partner who is willing to invest in their potential, a partner who is able to support their journey from just promising ideas to impactful solutions. And that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship exists, to really identify and support those entrepreneurs that are coming up with ideas that can, solve for some of the biggest challenges that we have within the educational sector on our continent. And today, it's really particularly significant because Rwanda joins a growing movement across the continent. With this kickoff year, ladies and gentlemen, the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is now in 12 countries, working with 11 innovation hubs across the continent, all with the one aim of saying, how do we support entrepreneurs to reimagine learning across our continent? But most importantly, this program is already demonstrating tremendous impact. Across the 12 countries, the 11 innovation hubs, 249 entrepreneurs have been supported, but most importantly, 5 million learners have been reached. 5 million learners have been reached. So I think our entrepreneurs deserve a round of applause, please. Because to me, this means 5 million learners whose educational journeys have been enhanced by locally produced solutions. It also means 5 million learners who have been reached through African-owned and African-led innovations. Most importantly, it means 5 million learners who remind us that when we invest in these entrepreneurs, we are actually investing in the learner. And these learners, they are most of the times in underserved areas. They are in under-resourced, marginalized communities. They are also sometimes learners with disabilities. They are learners who might be refugees or in displaced communities. So it's very, very important to just remember that when we support entrepreneurs, we are touching the learner. And so we are especially pleased today to welcome the Rwanda ICT Chamber as the newest partner to this family as we continue to scale the impact. Because for us, as Alex, you reiterated co-creation, partnership, collaboration, this kind of journey, you cannot do it by yourself. You need the ecosystem players, you need the government, you need the investors, you need the educators. I'm happy to see our partners, CMU, here, right? Ecosystem players. I see Ingenie is also here. It's very, very important if we are to do this right. And I've spent a few minutes trying to go around and meet some of the new fellows. But to the 8 new EdTech fellows who are joining us today, I would want to say congratulations for joining the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship program. Even though you are new to the network, our ambition remains the same. That is to provide you as entrepreneurs with the support, the mentorship, and the opportunities that you need to scale and your ideas and maximize your impact. And not just to maximize your impact, but maximize your impact in enabling access to education for the most marginalized young people on our continent. And really, as I draw to a close, I'm looking forward, Alex and the team, to the partnership ahead with the Rwanda ICT Chamber and to strengthening Rwanda's EdTech ecosystem, and not, as you said in your remarks, not only Rwanda's ecosystem, but Africa's EdTech ecosystem as a whole. So, Murakoze, thank you, and I would like to also invite you, if you can bear with us just for 3 minutes. My colleague Wariko, the director for the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, she couldn't join us, but since technology is here, it's going to allow us to just listen to her for 3 minutes. So thank you so much, Murakoze, everybody.
Thank you, Rodwell, for the inspiring words and for underscoring the Mastercard Foundation vision for inclusive education. As he mentioned, we have a special pre-recorded message from the Director of Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning at the Mastercard Foundation. If you can play the video, please.
Greetings from the Mastercard Foundation Centre for Innovative Teaching and Learning. Congratulations and welcome to the 2026 cohort of the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. This is not just a milestone, it is a signal that you are building solution Africa needs now. This year, you join a growing community of 236 fellows across the continent, founders, builders, and problem solvers who are reimagining how young people learn, transition, and access opportunity. At the Mastercard Foundation, we are proud to be on this journey with you because at our core, we are guided by a simple, powerful vision. A world where everyone can learn and prosper. That belief has shaped our work in Africa for over a decade and continues to drive our Young Africa Work strategy with the goal of enabling 30 million young people to access dignified and fulfilling work by the year 2030. This can only be possible when innovators like you build solutions accelerated by technology, a powerful catalyst for the democratization of education, breaking down barriers of geography, cost, and infrastructure to make learning accessible to millions who have been historically excluded. And that is the promise and responsibility of EdTech. To expand access beyond urban centers, to reach learners in rural and underserved communities, to support young people in refugee settlements, and to create inclusive learning experiences for learners with disabilities. At its best, EdTech does not just digitize education, it redistributes opportunity. And that's where the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship comes in. The fellowship sits at the intersection of 3 powerful forces: education system transformation, inclusive solutions which are technology-enabled, and sustainability of Africa's EdTech entrepreneurship. Now, let's be honest. This work is not easy. Building EdTech required for the impact you will create. I look forward to meeting you all in person soon. Thank you.
I believe we owe a great deal of thanks to Waliko for that powerful virtual address and for reminding us of the scale of impact we can achieve together. So this afternoon, we are deeply honored to have leadership from the highest levels of policy and education to witness the launch of the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship program in Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver Minister's remarks, help me to welcome to the stage Honorable Minister of State for Education, Honorable Claudette Ilele.
Distinguished guests, Rodwell, and the entire team from the Mastercard Foundation Centre for Innovative Teaching and Learning, Alex and the entire Rwanda ICT Chamber team, partners, students, because I saw Rwanda Coding Academy here, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me begin by expressing our appreciation to the Mastercard Foundation Centre for Innovative Teaching and Learning and the Rwanda ICT Chamber for bringing us together today and for their continued investment in strengthening education technology in Rwanda. As Rwanda continues to transform its education sector, technology is central. It remains an important enabler of access, quality, and equity. And by supporting locally driven EdTech solutions, this fellowship brings Rwandan EdTech innovators and entrepreneurs closer to policy and, most importantly, closer to developing practical responses to challenges within the system. Equally important is the emphasis on context-relevant EdTech innovations. Sustainable progress in education requires innovations that are responsive to our own realities and grounded in evidence and designed around the needs of the classrooms, that is for students and teachers, the needs of the schools, and at the national system level transformation. This is why partnerships that bring together government, innovators, educators, and development partners and the private sector are essential. And as this first cohort begins its journey, there is hope that the fellowship will contribute not only to our overall goal of improving learning outcomes, but also to the growth of a vibrant EdTech ecosystem that supports entrepreneurship, job creation, and Rwanda's broader digital transformation agenda. This is exciting to watch unfold. And our hope is that what works here could as well work somewhere else. And that the fellowship allows the fellows, the lucky fellows, to spread their wings outside Rwanda. The Ministry of Education remains committed to supporting this initiative, whether there is need to dive deep into policy direction or simply bouncing off ideas around certain thematics that are of importance to the sector, we will be glad to support in any way possible. Continued engagement will be critical in ensuring that promising solutions are able to grow, reach more students, and contribute to national development goals. Allow me once again to thank everyone's involvement, in making this initiative possible. Best wishes to the inaugural cohort as they embark on this important journey. We will be looking at them as they undertake this pioneering step. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your words of encouragement and for your commitment to drive EdTech innovation in Rwanda. Now, to give us a comprehensive understanding of the EdTech Fellowship program in Rwanda, how it is designed, what it entails, what to expect from the fellowship program in Rwandan context, we are going to listen to a presentation from the program manager, Dieudonné, who's going to take us through the details of the program. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes to the stage.
So, Honorable Minister, our partners from Mastercard Foundation and our partners from Ingenie, Carnegie Mellon Universities, our fellows, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So my name is Dieudonné Dusabimana. I'm the program manager for the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship at Rwanda ICT Chamber. And I have the privilege of taking you through the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship Rwanda program and sharing what this initiative aims to achieve over the next 18 months. So today marks an important, of course, milestone for Rwanda's EdTech system. And over the past few years, we have seen increasing innovations in education technology, with entrepreneurs developing solutions that address real challenges faced by learners, teachers, and schools. So this fellowship was established to help those innovators move from promising solutions to a sustainable impact at a scale. So let me briefly walk you through the program and the journey that lies ahead for the fellows that we will be announcing shortly. Next, please. Okay, so the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship, it's an acceleration program. It was created in 2019, of course, by Mastercard Foundation Centre for Innovative Teaching and Learning. And as our partner has mentioned, it has already launched in 11 African countries through local innovation hubs. And the goal has always been simple: help the companies grow so that more young people, especially those in undeserved communities, can access quality education through technology. So today, that program is here in Rwanda, and we are proud to be the one running it. Next, please. So the Mastercard Foundation is our founder, and the Rwanda ICT Chamber is the lead partner. And as Alex mentioned, we are the private sector voice for digital transformation in this country, and we take that responsibility seriously. We are also working with two outstanding partners: Ingenie, which is, as Alex mentioned, which is an African leading EdTech accelerator from South Africa, just for experience sharing, and Carnegie Mellon University Africa. We have Professor Tutaleni here through their Learning Science for Innovators program, which makes sure the solutions our fellows build are actually grounded in in how learners really learn. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, so the question we often asked ourselves was, like, why launch this program now? Over the past few years, Rwanda EdTech ecosystem has shown remarkable growth and potential. However, several challenges has continued to limit the growth of promising companies. There has been limited structured acceleration support, especially that are specifically designed for growth stage EdTech startups. Many companies have faced difficulties accessing schools and EdTech education institutions. Access to growth capital remains a challenge. And while there is a strong momentum across government, private sector, and development partners, there is an opportunity to strengthen collaboration even further to unlock great impact. So this fellowship was designed to help address those challenges and create stronger pathways for innovations to reach learners. So why does this matter? Because even though more children are in school today, many are still struggling to learn at the level we expect. In fact, more than 40,000 of learners are below their expected grade level. We also continue to see the difference between urban and rural schools. And some schools still face challenges such as unreliable electricity and access to learning resources. So this reminds us that getting children into schools is important, but helping them learn and succeed is even more important. So that's where the fellows we are announcing today can make a difference. The fellowship is here to support innovators, as we mentioned, who are building a practical solution that can help improve learning and create more opportunities for young people across Rwanda. So, Minister, I want to speak directly to the side of to this slide for a moment. This program was not designed to work around the government; it was just designed to work with it. Vision 2050 and NST2 are clear: education, technology, digital skills, and innovation, driving growth are at the center of where this country is going, and this fellowship backs that direction. It supports the push for hybrid learning and wider EdTech adoption. Importantly, this is not a program operating outside the education system. It's designed to work alongside government institutions, schools, teachers, and learners. And we are grateful for the continued collaboration and support from the Ministry of Education and other government stakeholders that are here with us today. So let us talk about the impact we aim to achieve in this cohort. Over the next 18 months, we will support 8 growth stage EdTech companies. Our target is for each company to reach and impact at least 5,000 learners. Collectively, this means more than 40,000 learners across Rwanda. But beyond numbers, our goal is to ensure that learning experiences meaningful improvement in access, engagement, and learning outcome. So, who we are reaching first? Okay, how we selected the fellows. So first, we announced, we launched a call of application where we received a total number of 201 applications. And they went through some rounds, and we then came up with the 8 fellows that will, of course, be announced in a few minutes. Okay. So when evaluating companies, we looked beyond great ideas. We focused on companies with a clear connection to education and learning outcome. We looked at products that are already being used by learners, teachers, and schools. We assessed the strength of funding teams, scalability, sustainability, accessibility, and inclusion. Most importantly, we looked for companies that have potential to create meaningful educational impact at scale. So what does the companies actually get? They will benefit from a tailored business support, mentorship, learning science expertise from our partner, Carnegie Mellon University, investment readiness support, monitoring and evaluation guidance, and access to a strong network of partners that we have in our ecosystem. And each fellow will receive up to $50,000 in grant funding. Our objective is not only to help companies grow, it's to help them sustain their business and impact the learners. So the fellowship takes a broader approach. We want companies to demonstrate not only growth in users, but also evidence of improved learning outcomes. We support alignment with schools, curriculum requirement, and national education system. So safeguarding is a non-negotiable requirement to every fellow. And by bringing those companies together, we create opportunities for collaboration, peer learning, and shared growth. So this fellowship will run for a total of 18 months. The first 6 months is dedicated for an intensive acceleration period, which will, of course will last for 6 months. And it will be followed by a post-acceleration period, which will run for 12 months. And it will focus on growth, expansion, and scaling. Throughout those 2 phases, we will continue engaging with policymakers, educators, investors, and the stakeholders that are in our ecosystem. So let's just then went through the acceleration phase, what's included in the acceleration phase. Fellows will go through a structured growth journey. This includes achieving the milestone that we have confirmed with them, growth planning, workshops, mentorship, as I mentioned, and some technical support from both internal and external experts, learning science training from, again, our partner CMU, and they also need to start piloting their product in a school setting. So in the post-acceleration phase, as we mentioned, companies will expand their reach, strengthen partnerships, pursue investment opportunities, and continue measuring their impact. Our role, of course, will be to ensure that they remain supported as they move from growth to scale. While we are supporting those companies today, our ambition goes beyond those 8 companies that we are going to announce in a few minutes. It takes a market system approach. That means we are also building the wider ecosystem around them. We are developing Rwanda's first national EdTech ecosystem dashboard, which will track growth, investment, and adoption across the sector. We will produce an investment and market report to give the policymakers and investors the data they need. And we will hold a biannual EdTech policy roundtables that will bring, of course, everyone on one table, and so that we can support the fellows we are supporting and we are announcing today. So a key question for any program is, what happens after the funding ends? From the beginning, sustainability has been embedded into the design of this fellowship. Throughout this partnership, especially expertise is, of course, being transferred to Rwanda ICT Chamber. Our long-term vision is to contribute to a sustainable, locally led EdTech acceleration ecosystem that can continue supporting future generations of innovators. So success for us will not be measured by, of course, downloads or users that have registered on their platform. We will track their numbers, the number of the learners that they have reached and impacted, with special attention to girls, refugees, and learners with disabilities, together with those learners that are in rural communities. We will also track evidence of improved learning outcome, not just how many people have downloaded the app or used or browsed their product. We will also track company growth, revenue, job created, partnerships, and the investment that they have raised. We aim for at least 30% of learners reached to be women and girls, and we will share our data and listen openly with the government and partners that are here today, because this journey, of course, belongs to all of us. So the success of this fellowship depends on collaboration. This program needs more than 8 companies, as our CEO mentioned, and it also needs some few partners to work. it doesn't need also few partners to work. If you are a school or a district education leader, please open your door so that the fellows can start piloting their schools and their product into schools. The fellows need schools, teachers, and some honest reviews. That is how, of course, a good product gets built. So if you are a government, and I know we have some government officials here, please keep guiding us. Your alignment with national priorities is what will keep this program on the right track. And if you are a telecom or a fintech company, let's partner on access, devices, affordability, connectivity, and costs. Costs are mainly barriers for many learners, especially those that are in undeserved communities. And if you are a development partner, let's connect, share what works, and find ways to do this together. And if you are an investor, kindly let's connect so that we can support those companies further, and so that they can first impact the learners and help the learners improve their learning outcomes. By closing, I would like to thank, of course, the Mastercard Foundation, our implementation and learning partner, CMU, government institutions, ecosystem stakeholders, and everyone who contributed to making this fellowship a reality. Most importantly, I would also like to congratulate the 8 fellows who we will be announcing shortly. Today, of course, marks the beginning of an excitement journey, a journey that aims to support innovation, strengthen education, and positively impact more than 40,000 learners across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dieudonné, for a detailed presentation on the program design. I believe by now we all understand what the EdTech Fellowship program is all about and how we can contribute to the success of this program. And now the moment we've been all waiting for. It's time to officially meet the fellows of our first cohort in Rwanda. We are going to play an introductory video, a very short one, and after that, I'll be calling up all the 8 fellows to the stage to receive their official recognition. Technician, if you can help me to play the introductory video of our fellows, please.
CEO at Creativity Lab, but you can call me the team lead at Creativity Lab. My name is Rosbella Zita. I am the CEO at Creativity Lab, but you can call me the team lead at Creativity Lab. We are proud to be among the chosen ones for the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. At Creativity Lab, we provide competent-based solutions for STEM education in the primary school classroom. What this means is that we train set teachers with basic robotic skills and provide them with these kits. In return, the teachers take this to the classrooms and they make science learning, one, more interesting, understandable, and we break the myth that science is hard, but also make it easy for the teachers to access this because it's just within the country and they can use what is locally available for them. The Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is a good initiative that is going to help us, one, boost the production so that we can be in position to meet the unmet need. In a nutshell, we are privileged and grateful to be a part of the teams or the companies that were chosen. We hope to learn, one, from the fellowship itself, to grow our company, but as we grow the company, we are growing the nation. We look forward to see STEM field in schools so that the learners can be in position to catch up with the new EdTech resolution of the world.
I'm Chusa Ian Berulo, the founder of Berulo Foundation and the creator of Berulo app. So Better Up is a digital solution platform that I create to help Ministry of Education or to connect the education sector, local government, and families. So all of them, to allow them to monitor the attendance and the track the absenteeism and dropout. I am very much excited to be selected among of eight companies which is going to attend Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. So it will help me to expand my solution to another provinces, because I'm currently in the Southern Province. I'm monitoring with more than 1 million runners and 32,000 teachers and over 3,000 of non-teaching staff. So it will help me to expand that solution to another provinces to add more than those millions that I'm doing today.
At Braining, what we do is actually very simple. First, we identify the big problem in the education system in Rwanda and Africa in general. Classes in Rwanda have a student-to-teacher ratio of around 50:1, which makes it very difficult for a teacher to understand where each student is at and the level of their learning. So we solve this by creating a platform where you use Braining to take pictures of handwritten work, which is how we learn, and upload it on a platform, and our AI will grade the student. This is very helpful because when you grade with AI over a period of time, you're able to understand a pattern of how a student keeps responding. When we've identified those learning gaps, we can give them to the teacher and the student for them to help the student improve on their learning.
With the help of the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship, we'll be able to evaluate the way our system works.
We want to thank Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship for believing in our dream and getting us here. We really are so excited to raise our traction, to get into those 5,000 students and to impact as many students as possible, because we really believe that the next age of education is personalized learning. And what we're bringing with AI grading along with AI assessment generation is going to change the game immensely.
Nyereka Tech is a Rwandan company focusing for embedded learning ecosystem, where we combine e-learning, hands-on skills, and also education network. We have the platform called the Nedu app. It's an e-learning platform where the students and teachers, they meet, and also they can gain skills. Students can learn through our Nedu app, gain the hands-on skills and also the knowledge they required on the market. The Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is very needed on our campaign, specifically for Nedu app. We are going to implement our Nedu app to deploy in different schools, and also are targeting to have the Nedu box where those schools in rural area, they can even though accessing our platform and let the students get the same skills across the country in embedded system and STEM related courses.
This project is inspired with how I personally started the robotics business. I started this with just a package of 20 robots, which we call a classroom package to teach robotics and STEM. In this program, we'll be able to set up many community centers across the country. This is an approach where we want to democratize the robotics from urban centers to rural areas as well. And the approach we are going to take is right from actually why we founded Zora Robotics, is to create more entrepreneurs in robotics. We'll be able to training of trainers as instructors of these community centers, and we equip them with robotics and AI boxes and drones so that they are able to deliver and to teach kids within their communities. We'll be targeting young people who graduated in different science subjects and train them to enhance their skills in robotics so that they are able to deliver this. And we'll make sure that what they're doing, they are also earning a revenue. So the project is able to sustain itself in the near future.
My name is Joseph Semafara from Soma Foundation Rwanda, an organization that is running SomaBox. SomaBox is a tool that helps educational system, students and teachers to have access to digital content without internet. We are very excited to be part of Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. We are excited because we are going to be enabled to reach more learners and teachers and be able to impact as more schools as possible.
My name is Hirgo Rore. I'm CEO and founder of EdTech Solution. EdTech Solution is opened, it is done in 2024 as training center, but after opening as training center, we start thinking about creating EdTech Solution Academy, which can be our e-learning platform, which is used for the people, especially who is in the rural area, the people with disability, and also which can help the student who still at the schools, even at home when they're in the holidays. After being selected, I was also thinking about our pending project, our pending program, which can be how we are going to implement it, how can be reached to many peoples. Actually, that was in one of our plan, which was major. That was in the bracket, that was thinking that maybe next year we can learn that project, but with their support, we are going to implement that project.
I'm Vivens Wizaimana. I'm from Jobra, formerly Umurava, and I'm excited to introduce our EdTech product line called Competence by Jobra. And this is a work experience development platform where young students and talents really come to work on employer and industry-driven skills challenges, and we are mostly focused on these roles and careers that are growing in a high pace in the digital economy. So we are excited to be part of Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship Cohort 1, because we see this as a strong resource and even an opportunity to scale competence. And the scalability for us means taking competence to a wide range of students, especially high school students in Senior 4, Senior 5, and Senior 6, so that these young people can really specialize in their career of interest as areas they can, at the same time equipping them with work experience as areas they can as well. And we see this as a way to leverage them in really building a meaningful product which will be sustainable in terms of revenues and which will even scale the impact part by reaching thousands of young students and young talents across Rwanda and Africa.
All right, and there we have them, our 8 fellows. As you can imagine, they went through a very competitive and tough selection process from 201 applicants up to 8. That must have been very tough. But even those who didn't made it through the first cohort, we promise you it's not going to be the end of the fellowship. The fellowship is here to stay. I think Dieudonné touched on the sustainability of this program post-funding period. And that's very real because we want to keep supporting our learners to improve their learning outcomes. So now we've seen, we've heard what these companies, the fellows, does, what their solutions are all about. I'll be now calling up the representatives from these companies. As I call out your name and company, please step forward to the stage to receive your official recognition. And now from Soma Foundation, please let's put our hands together to welcome CEO Joseph Semafara to the stage. I think the CEO is not around. He sent a representative. You're welcome. From Zolabots, I've seen the CEO, Benjamin. Let's put our hands together as he comes to the stage. And from Creativity Lab, let's put our hands together to the CEO of Creativity Labs as she comes to the stage. From Beruro Foundation, let's clap our hands as we welcome the CEO to the stage. Mr. Beruro, is he around? Right, I see a representative back in the stage. All right, from EdTech Solution, let's welcome CEO Olore to the stage. From Nyereka Tech, let's welcome CEO Shadrach to the stage. From Brain Inc., let's welcome the company's representative to the stage, Brain Inc. Welcome. From Jobra, let's welcome the CEO, Mr. Vivens. Right, these are our 8 fellows who made it to the first cohort of EdTech Fellowship Program. Congratulations to all of you. And as you can see, everyone is excited for you. And this means that they are supporting you throughout this journey that you are just starting. And before they leave the stage, I'd like to call upon Honorable Minister of State to join them, as well as our speakers, representative from the Mastercard Foundation, and Ingini, the team from Ingini, ICT Chamber team, to come and join them to the stage for a quick group picture. ICT Chamber team in the room, please come forward. The entire Mastercard Foundation team, CMU representatives, Munedic, RABE representative, please join them as well. I think we can push ourselves a little bit to the other side. Yeah, we can do 2 lines for a better picture. Let's use the stairs. Thank you very much. You may go back to your seats. Thank you. Well, we are now going to transition into the panel discussion to dive into the practicalities of the sector. And our panel discussion today centers on the crucial theme, nurturing context-relevant EdTech innovations in Rwanda. To guide this conversation, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Grace, for this session. And please help me to welcome Grace to the stage, and she will introduce the panelists that we have this afternoon. A round of applause as she comes to the stage.
All right, thank you, Moise, and congratulations once again to our fellows that made it today. Okay, so I'm gonna welcome our speakers today for the panel. Our first speaker is Ms. Diane Sengati from REP. Please help me welcome her with a round of applause. Next on the panel, we have, I was looking for them. Next on the panel, we have Mr. Asha Mutijima from RTB. Please help me welcome him with a round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Karenzi Benjamin, the CEO of Zora Robotics, with a round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Tuteleni, the co-director of the Learning Sciences for Innovators program at Carnegie Mellon University. And lastly, we have Mr. Eliud. Oh, okay. All right. We'll have a representative. All right. Can we have the representative, the one that will be standing in for Mr. Eliud, please? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Welcome to the stage, our esteemed speakers today. And like Mr. Moise introduced the panel, we'll be talking about a very crucial topic, nurturing context-relevant EdTech innovations in Rwanda. And I believe that each one of you has a specific role to play when it comes to not just putting innovations on display, but ensuring that they are relevant to the context of our country. So I will ask the first question, which cuts across everyone, and I want to pick your thoughts in very few words. So this question is not specifically for anyone in particular, but it's for everybody. I want to hear your thoughts on that. The first question with regards to this topic is, when we say EdTech that fits the Rwandan context, what does that mean to you? And what makes a solution right for our schools and our learners? That question goes for everyone. I will start with Ms. Diane.
Thank you. Excuse myself because I have a problem with my voice, and I had flu, but I'm okay now. You said a school ready?
When we say EdTech that fits the Rwandan context, what does that mean to you? And how does it pertain to our schools and our learners in general?
When we're talking about how it fits, to me is because it has to be, because we're in school, we're talking about learning, it has to be to fit the curriculum, to reflect the curriculum. And when we're talking about the curriculum, it's not about only the content, but what we're expecting to be achieved from that curriculum. So the learning outcomes must also be reflected. as expected.
Thank you. Learning outcomes, curriculum, all right?
Right.
Over to you.
Yes, thanks. If you ask me, coming from TVET, in TVET we deal with talent. So I would say an EdTech solution or EdTech in general must be personalized, because how a creative student learn is different than how a mechanic student learn. So it must be personalized to each learning, for each learner's learning experience. Thank you.
Personalized learning. Thank you.
Thank you. To me, I would say the context relevant, I would somehow challenge that because the industry is very dynamic and is evolving day by day. For an EdTech solution, should be a solution that can adapt to industry demands. Thank you.
We're hearing great thoughts, a solution that can adapt to the industry. Okay. Mr. Tuteleni.
Thank you. I think I'll also focus on the context. There's an old saying that none of us should have to enter our houses through a gate that somebody else built for us. So to have an EdTech that is particularly appropriate and focused on the Rwandan context, it means that it has to be built by the people who understand that context. It has to be understood by people who have designed the curriculum, who have gone through that curriculum. And I think for me, that's the exciting part about having these fellows who understand the context and really can design for what that specific context needs.
Understanding the community you're serving and what problem you're addressing. Thank you very much. Those are brilliant insights you just gave. I'm still with you, Mr. Tuteleni. And the question is, CMU brings the science of learning angle to this program. In practice, how can the EdTech companies build real learning evidence into their products from the start, rather than treating impact measurements as something to do later?
Thank you. We spent the last few days together with the EdTech. I feel like I should be the teacher and ask them to answer that question because that's exactly what we focused on. I think if you, we had a slide yesterday that says that if you understand how humans learn, then you can create products that support that learning process. So I think that's really the main important factor of this, that if you can understand how people learn, then you can build the tools that, that fit that. And from that, you can then start generating the evidence that actually can then support the multiple claims that you're making.
Evidence comes with understanding the tools on the ground, who are using it, and how it can be better adapted to their needs. Thank you very much. I think we'll unpack it a bit more later. Let's move to Mr. Asher, representing the RTB. What would you say, much of the EdTech conversation focuses on basic education, yet skills and employability are at the heart of the NST2. Where do you see the biggest unmet opportunities for technology in TVET generally, and what would you want innovators in this room to build in accordance to the need?
Right. I'll echo what I said earlier, experience, because in TVET, we still in short of the learning facilities or infrastructure that are needed. But with EdTech, you can build that. You can build gamified experiences, gamified solutions. You can build simulations. You can build using extended reality. It could be AR, it could be VR, whereby you give learners to learn, you give learners a platform to learn while experiencing something. I always like to give this example of aircraft pilots. They only fly a commercial plane after various simulations of experiencing what it will be like to take off, experiencing what it will be like to land a plane. So within TVET, or generally in general education, a learner who is not exposed to sufficient infrastructure, tools and equipment, which are in abundance, which are rare rather, they must at least be given experience of what it is like to do this. If they're in auto mechanics or manufacturing, if they could learn that through a simulated solution, through a gamified product, they will learn and they will embrace the learning. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Would you say still, to follow up on that question, would you say that young innovators are embracing more that aspect of practical, putting the practical skills into a more digitized aspect? Because over the years, yes, TVET is really investing in vocational skills, but how are young people doing in embracing the digital aspect of it? Is it growing, or does more effort still need to be?
Yeah, the way I see it, I believe that actually the learners are ahead of us. They understand the immersive technologies and the extended reality technologies whereby gaming is attached. They are too busy playing Roblox, which is a metaverse-based technology. And for us, we are still teaching them closely, even though we've been adapting our curriculum recently, but we're still teaching them on a traditional way. So I think these EdTech technologies, it is a growing trend, actually a solution, but as the educators, the responsible of the education, we need to adapt to the pace where they are. They understand these things before you even teach them. So if we could give them more opportunities to learning through experiences, like I kept on saying, they will be given, it will be an opportunity for us to grow together with them. And yeah, we will see education changing and achieving learning outcomes that she alluded to earlier more effectively.
Thank you very much. And I believe the EdTech Fellowship program is one step to making that happen. Exactly. Over to you, Ms. Diane Sengati. For an EdTech solution to work at scale, it has to fit within the national curriculum, like you mentioned. The teacher practices and school infrastructure have to all be aligned. Now, from REP side, what does a school-ready EdTech product look like? And what common mistakes do innovators make when trying to enter schools? Because we've seen this happen numerous times, where innovators come to us saying, I have an innovation, but I'm struggling to enter schools. And when they come to the ministry, there are you're looking for certain qualifications. So what does an EdTech-ready product look like from REP's perspective?
Thank you very much. I think it's a solution that needs to be like trying to respond to the following questions. Is the solution aligned to the curriculum? That would be the first. And as I said, the curriculum is not just the content, because most of the innovators, they know about that. So they think that the content is enough, and then they know the content, and then they try to develop something, which is okay. But there is something beyond that goes with the pedagogy, with the also everything that you need to think about. For example, the age appropriateness. If you are doing something, is a child of this year would be able to use that, or is it even allowed? Like, do we have also such a, maybe those skills for that kid at that age to be able to do that? Another thing is, does it fit, or is it compatible with the existing infrastructure? Sometimes we see solution that comes, and then they need maybe like internet, high-speed internet. Maybe they need maybe such and such devices that are not available in our schools. So they need to first, the solution must be compatible with existing solutions. Sometimes they need also to be on a platform, and then because there is an existing platform, but then those two platforms are not working together, they're not compatible. And this also is another solution. But if we have a solution that can address those, then they will be perfect, because we're not just looking for a solution that looks good or works perfectly, but we need a solution that will be able to be used. So you need also to think about the sustainability, the privacy, the scalability. Most of the time we've seen solutions that are not even be scalable, and sometimes they limit themselves, like they'll be able only to work if there are, so they have some conditions, and those conditions limit the scalability, and because we can't decide, like we have a solution to only work on this part, and then which would not work on that part. Maybe a part of the country, sometimes they don't want a remote area, it's not going to work there. So we want really something that is going to work in every part of the country. So it means we're talking about kind of equity. But again, I think some of the solutions I'll talk about it is about the having the inclusivity to make sure that it's made for all. It's not only some students, some selected students, they must be all of them be able to work on that solution, because we want a solution that will be in school. And of course, we know that some of the solutions are not maybe learning-based, maybe they're management-based. So for those, maybe they're different. But still, scalability, sustainability, and data privacy and security is very key. And then there are some also solutions that need to think about when to use it, how to use it in class, for example. Sometimes it's good, but then when we try to fit it in the class, like, okay, how do you expect the teacher to be using it in the class? And sometimes it's, someone said, we're thinking out of the box, I think. Yeah. So we need to be inside the classroom, not outside the classroom. So we end up most of the solution being to be used as an extracurricular. So it's not part of the curriculum. So when it's not part of the curriculum, to us, most of the time, it's not a priority. We understand there's a need, there's that aspect to support, but then sometimes you find it's not a priority for us, then you end up not having much support as you need. So those components needs to be to be in one, to think about all of them in one. And then you need also to understand the priorities, of course, of the government. Sometimes you want to bring something that is already existing. Right. Sometimes you want to bring something that is really maybe removing one, and then you want yours to be there. And but we need something that is actually supporting what is existing. So, and then aligned to the priorities. So most of the common mistakes, if I say, are around that. They are not considered in that way. Sometimes they want to develop. First, they think about a challenge. Maybe they experienced it, or maybe they know someone who faced that challenge, and then they try to find a solution and come to us, and then sometimes it's not really fitting. And then they need to go first to understand, yes, get that concept, get an idea, come to us, go to the schools, go to the parents, students, teachers, and any institution, and then talk about it, and then design or develop it around that. Right. Because if you want to develop it because of only what you are thinking, sometimes you end up, for example, we had a case of a company, an EdTech company approached us, and then they wanted a recommendation so that they can scale the product, the solution. But then we said that we're not going to give a recommendation if you don't go to a school, and then the school will tell us if they need that. And then when they went to the school, they end up having a different completely solution. They had to redevelop again with the school, but which is okay because at the end they got the recommendation from us, but it was worth it, but it took really a long time. So it's good if you are working with the people who need that solution before. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that was a detailed answer. And for the innovators in the room, I think there should be an understanding really of who you're designing for, because most people tend to focus on their innovations rather than focusing on who they're building that for. So I think it's very important to first understand your local context. What is the national curriculum? What are the priorities and how do I build around that? And I think there's a linkage between what you're mentioning with the science of learning. I think coming back to Mr. Tuteleni, I think this aspect of science of learning is one of the key things that these innovators joining the program will be benefiting from CMU and other facilitators that will help them learn. What would you say from the different innovations you've had to see in the past? What would you say was the appetite in applying the science of learning when it comes to innovators redesigning? Is it something they understand quickly? Is it something they think is relevant? And how do you go about helping them throughout that process?
Most entrepreneurs create products that are very personal to them. Mm-hmm. So for someone to come back and say, wait, you know, this is not really what it needs to be, is a very painful thing to take. I usually give an example, like is someone coming in and saying that your baby is not really good looking. And you're not gonna take that very kindly. So I think there's always sometimes a bit of a resistance to people, if they designed something first and then we come in after to say, you really have to think about this from a learning perspective, then that becomes a challenge. But I think what we try to do, at least through the support of the fellows, is to engage them this early to say, you know, you need to start thinking about really how learning actually happens. Because without that, it's not going to really be effective. And I like what Ms. Diane said, that if you're not working with the schools, you're really going to be creating something that doesn't fit. We have a big banner on one of our floors at CMU that says, the user is not you. But a lot of us design for ourselves. So you design a product that's really great and works in an ideal context, but any of us who have been teachers knows that classrooms are very chaotic and loud and everything else. So you need to make sure that you're actually understanding the actual context that you're developing for. But I think once a person understands the science of learning, once a person understands how humans actually learn, I think entrepreneurs usually tend to adopt that because we aim to convince them about how this also ties to the bottom line. You're not just doing these things for science sake. You're doing this because you want people to improve learning outcomes. You can have the most shiniest and wonderful product, but if it's being put in use and it is not delivering on what it promised because you cut corners somewhere else, then you have just wasted your time. So, you know, yesterday we had our onboarding session and I went back and forth a lot, sort of trying to show that a lot of what we're doing is not just some specialized theory. This is based on evidence, and what science of learning does, that gives you the actual evidence that you can use to convince stakeholders that this actually works.
Thank you very much. That answers it perfectly. We're getting to our last questions, so yeah, you still have a couple more answers to give. I'll go to Mr. Karenzi Benjamin. As someone who is building an EdTech solution on ground, what is the hardest part of staying context relevant? And is it infrastructure, affordability, teacher adoption, language, or something we are not talking about enough?
Thank you. Statement of something we are not talking about. I think there is a gap between what we call innovators, either in Rwanda or across the globe, and the systems that are already in place. For someone to even use the word of an innovator, it may make sense if we say someone is an innovator, but it may also not make sense if you're trying to innovate within a moving machine that is already built, that it's going to be hard for you to fit in because it's a machine that is already built. And as someone lucky enough to be representing most of my peers in the room, when you even start thinking of positioning yourself as an innovator, it's because you're challenging a system that is in place. That is what is in your mind. You're challenging a system that is in place. And you're challenging a system that countries and institutions have spent years building. That's why in my early statements I said context relevant is a bit something that can be debated even a bit more further. I'll give an example why, before I answer the question on that. It's more of a story. I come back to Rwanda personally. It's a story that happened with a small robot. And I tell two of my partners, one in China and another in the UK, to train two students who were at KIST by then in their first year on how to build, assemble, disassemble the robot and program it and all that. And that was mid-2019. In 2020 early, the Ministry of ICT invited all tech entrepreneurs to come up with solutions to respond to COVID. I sit down with those two gentlemen, who are one is my partner, and to discuss what should be the solution. We found out that one of the robots we had as a service robot, we could rebuild it into a robot to respond to COVID. And this, by the time we were working together, they were still in first year and second year of university. So we proposed this solution to the ministry, and the ministry says we need these solutions before we go into the lockdown because COVID is already hitting across. We deployed a robot in Rwanda, and these two first year and second year students were the one using the skills they learned from the small robots to be able to support on responding on COVID mitigation teams. The same people I exported to Kenya, to Equatorial Guinea, to Ethiopia to do the same job. And, but before exporting them, some international organizations that I was working with and were funding us, whenever I could send their CVs, I could easily get rejected because all they wanted was someone with a high qualification to do the job. So I could ask some of my friends who are not even Rwanda, give me this, I hope it's on record, but I hope I'm not going to be sued for this. And I say, don't worry, they'll do the job. No. So I could get consultants that I'll pay that will not even appear at the site in any COVID hospital, but just because they have what I could call proof that they know what they're going to do. But I could end up taking these young people. I know I had a hard time in Nairobi with making sure that who I'm bringing to deploy was not the person I was representing. So to answer your question, for my peers in the room, I think there is a need with what we are doing to engage the teachers on ground. This is not to be, to create two positions where there is a position that represents an existing system and there is a position of the innovators. And then by that, you're just going to collide. But the best option I've seen, and we have been trying to do it within the EdTech progress that we are trying to make, is find the teachers in these schools, expose them to the technology you're bringing in place. Some of the teachers have not seen the robots before, and some of the students have not seen the robots, or they have not seen those systems we are bringing in place, and let them adapt. And this is where I will make a call maybe to Diane, is as we start this journey, is to help us bring all these solutions in the room, meet the teachers. We do initial exposure, more of exposure presentations, so that one, the teacher can own your solution, an educator can own your solution, can feel it, and also can contribute to that solution. Some of the sessions we had for learning with Professor Tulani's, he could give us insights that we don't know from the other side of educators and also of learners. So I think there is a need for innovators to get so close, like what you said, Diane, to get so close to the teachers and show them what they want to do, so that the teachers can help you actually implement what you want to give. I think those are the few words I could say. Thank you.
Very much. I think time will not allow us to go deeper than that, but thank you for really answering that well. I'm gonna ask a last question that everyone will answer. It's more like a closing note for all of us. The fellowship targets at least 40,000 learners across Rwanda through these 8 companies. What has to go right across government, funders, academia, and innovators for that number to translate into genuine learning gains rather than just user counts? So that's a question for everyone on this panel, and we'll wrap it up. So beyond us hitting the numbers, the targets, the 40,000 learners across this program, how do we ensure that that translates into genuine learning gains? Like most of you have said, learning outcomes. How do we measure that at the end of the day?
Okay.
I'll start.
Let me take it.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to start by complimenting what she mentioned earlier of working with school, rather co-designing or co-creation. Maybe you could have a working prototype, but then working with schools, trying to understand how it will fit best their needs, will do the magic. So if you ask, I believe, and we as the Ministry of Education, we believe that any solution that delivers on learning outcomes, it's a win. Because learners are there to learn. You can come up with the best solution, the flashy product, but if it does not contribute to the learning outcome, if it does not contribute to the learning experience or improve the quality of teaching and learning, then it will have been just another story to be told later. So if these innovators could work with us, yes, there's going to be an intensive period whereby they will undergo some sort of alignment or training, but then later they'll be deployed or we open doors for them to go to schools. Please consider going listening to schools. Yes, you could have the best management solution for the school, but let it be driven by them, because them only can define the success of your solution. So co-designing and co-creating will add more value to this, and then making sure that these solutions and products contribute to the learning outcome. It's one aspect that we are looking forward to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asha. Co-designing and co-creation, keyword. Let's go to Mr. Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be part of the first cohort, because we have went through a learning session, including on monitoring, evaluation, and learning. For the best outcome beyond numbers, one is these solutions and these startups or businesses, they should prove that they are revenue making and sustainable. Because the solutions and we are bringing is not basically charity, it's we want to make business out of it. And one way to measure if a solution is working or not is if among the 5,000, the 40,000 target of learners or people impacted are willing to continue using your solution post the program. I think that would be a great measure.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Tutu.
There was an article in The Economist magazine about 2-3 months back that said something along the line that globally there are so many EdTech solutions out there, so many EdTech companies, and the majority of them are completely useless. And that should cause an entrepreneur and someone in EdTech to sort of pause. Why is it that those things are useless? And that's because for decade after decade after decade, we have focused on giving people access to the technology and not focus on improving learning outcomes. So there's tons of technologies out there over and over that are very even profitable. So you can make a lot of money with your product and still not end up influencing learning outcomes at all. So I'm gonna focus on what you said earlier about what has to go right for this to actually work. So for this to go right, you have 8 companies that ICT Chambers is going to be accelerating and really working with, and ICT Chamber is well poised to support this company, which is great. But Rwanda has, 14 million people? That's 8 companies for a massive population. So this is only a first step. But this is an ecosystem. So you have to make sure that for this to work well, it can't be 1 or 2 people doing this and doing that. We know the old African saying of if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go further, go together. So you have to make sure that you're including. EdTech is not going to work if the teachers in the classroom are feeling left behind. I am not going to bring a tool in my classroom if I'm going to be embarrassed by my learners laughing at me because I don't know how to use it. So that means that we have to bring the teachers into the ecosystem. Your EdTech is not going to work at home if the parents are not involved in that ecosystem. Because the parents are going to say, what are you doing here, just having fun, just wasting your time. So that means that we have to bring the parents also into the system. So for this to work, everybody has to recognize that they have a role. And then lastly, what we talked about yesterday was that it's 8 entrepreneurs. They should not see themselves as competitors because there's enough space, right? Rodwell said earlier that the fellowship is in 12 countries. There's 54 countries on the continent. That means if you're looking for clients or customers, you are spoiled for richness in terms of where you can go. But that means now that you have to be able to say, let me not see that other entrepreneur as my competitor, but how can I work with that person? How can I shouldn't see Menaduk as this organization that's putting up barriers because they are saying that I have to abide by regulation, but let me see them as partners in this whole process. All of this to work well, we have to make sure we understand that we all have a stake in this.
I hear partnership, working together. Thank you so much. Lastly, last but not least.
Thank you. I won't be very far from what others said. One piece of advice is do not focus maybe on the numbers too much, right? But rather think about or focus on what you're bringing to them. And if you do it well, you'll be able to even go beyond that number, because this is just a number. And it's not calculated like in a class, there will be how many students just to stop at 2,000 or 500 or 5,000, whatever number you have. I'm pretty sure if you convince the users, and about the users, I'm talking about the teachers and the students and the parents and the whole community. Because if, for example, the government says like, you have to use this, but then you don't know if they are not convinced, this will be something as an extra, and then they will not use it. And then we've seen some solutions failing like that because they don't really, they don't feel like it's their solution. So then they end up not even using it. However much time we try, we put efforts, and then we fail. We have such a solutions. So don't think that because maybe you have the government support or because you have Mastercard support or IST Chamber support that you are not going to be successful in school. No. I think they need to buy that, to see the solution as their solution, not a solution from Berulo, not a solution from Zora. No, they need to feel like it's their solution, it's theirs, and then they have to. You have to create that needs into them, and then they will be actually a testimony for you also to grow beyond that. So that would be my piece of advice, which is you have to know who you are talking about, and then make sure that they have. So, for example, the teachers, to make them understand, you have to train them on their pace, understand them, internalize it, and then use it. And this is how it goes.
Thank you very much. Can you help me give them a round of applause? I think that was really a packed session, and I think the chosen ones, or the winners, the 8 innovators that were selected, have a lot of work to do in terms of aligning with the context, aligning with the curriculum, understanding the science of learning behind what they are designing, and how to best really approach the teachers and the students, because at the end of the day, they are not designing for themselves. You're designing for users who will use the tool after you're gone. So thank you very much. I think this was really insightful. We'll close from here, and you can go back to your seats. Thank you very much. We can usher them back with a round of applause. And I invite back the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists and the moderator for the insightful and invaluable insights that they've shared with us. I think the ecosystem would benefit from this kind of collaborative alignment among different stakeholders. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring the formal part of this event to a close, I would like to take a moment on behalf of the ICT Chamber and the Mastercard Foundation to express our profound gratitude. Thank you to the partners, ecosystem stakeholders, and everyone in this room for honoring our invitation, for your presence, for your commitments today. The launch of the EdTech Fellowship program is a powerful step forward, but its ultimate success relies on the continuous alignment and active collaboration of every school representative, every policymaker in the room, every investor, every partner, and all the entrepreneurship support organizations that are present here. So we will succeed as the fellowship because we will work together. And as you've heard throughout the conversations, throughout the remarks that were delivered here today. Together, we have a unique opportunity to shape the future of learning and deliver the bright outcomes that Rwandan learners deserve. And to our 8 fellows who made it through the first cohort of the fellowship, the journey officially begins today. We believe in your vision, and the entire ecosystem is standing behind you. And now I think we are officially to the close of the official presentations and formal presentations, but the experience is just beginning. Right after here, we are going to go through a guided exhibition, which is happening to the other side of this venue. The team will guide you through the exhibition. They will show you where the stands of the fellows are, for you to experience these solutions, to interact with the fellows, and to give your first comment and your, I think, I would say your best wish to the fellows that had made it to the first cohort. So once again, I thank you so much for honoring our invitation, for being with us this afternoon. And I hope you are going to stay with us as we go through this EdTech Fellowship for the first time in Rwanda, because we need your support as the ecosystem enablers. So thank you so much, and I wish you to enjoy the networking session, which our team has prepared. They will also be serving some snacks and drinks as we network. So thank you and enjoy your evening.